So he is going to be going over that today. Michael has extensive experience in the nonprofit sector, your mission, your pitch, donor acquisition, how to ask for money. So this will be a really fun one today to sort of have all of us leaving with that skill set to go ask for that check, ask for that dollar. Do we have a clear mission? Michael, I am going to hand it off to you. Bless us with love. Let us know what you need. We've got a lot of familiar faces on here, new nonprofits, those that have been around for a while. I'm handing it off to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon. And let's show Dr. Sharon some love. We got to use that chat. I want this to be as interactive as possible today. So if you could just show Dr. Sharon some love for holding this bonus session, give me a heart emoji or a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know you're with me or on the screen, right? With the reactions. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I will need you to be interactive. I want you to ask questions. Dr. Sharon is going to keep an eye on the chat for me for any questions that come along the way. And I want to be here for you as a resource. So please be ready to take notes as well as ask questions. All right, so a little bit about me. Why should you even listen to me today? Well, my name is Michael Clark. I'm a business and pitch coach. I work with nonprofits and startups on messaging, pitch, donor acquisition, and mission statements. So I've been able to work with organizations and raise from $10,000 all the way up to $20 million. My sweet spot is working with nonprofits to help them break that $1 million and higher barrier with donors. Located down here in sunny and hot Atlanta, Georgia. Absolutely love it. Where I'm down here with my wife, 3 beautiful children, 2 dogs, a rabbit, a snake, and even more. So I want you guys to buckle up, get ready. I want to talk about money and giving and all that good stuff. And here's the agenda. We're going to address this big one. So often there's the fear of asking for money. We're going to tackle that one right up front. We're going to talk about the benefit of donors over grants, donor mindset, 5 keys to asking for money, what goes into great pitches, and great mission statements, and of course, questions throughout. Again, I can see the chat, so feel free to ask questions. I want this to be as interactive as possible. So let's start out. The fear of asking. So many people fear asking because they think there's 2 types of people out there. There's people out there ready, like angry, no, they're going to say no, shut the door in my face, hang up the phone, not realizing there's a whole nother group of people out there that are ready to give. And they simply have not given because they just don't know who you are. That's the only thing stopping them from giving. And once they know who you are, you're able to ask, pitch, make an appeal, they'll give, and you would be totally shocked. So a couple of housekeeping things semantically. When you hear pitching, selling, asking, one thing I always hear, I don't want to be pitched. I don't like selling. I don't want to pressure people into giving to my organization. Everything we want in life, someone has, and we have to ask for it. I challenge someone to put something in the chat. Other than God's love, we have to ask for it. There, everything in life, whether it's that new car or that coffee in the drive-thru at Starbucks, we have to ask to get what we want. And please, asking and pitching is not begging. I hear that from so many nonprofits. Well, I don't want to have to beg. That is not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is that when we do ask, you're allowing a donor to serve your community. Asking allows a donor to serve your community. Because in the one organization that's in Watts, I heard on the line, I'm in Atlanta. If I want to serve Watts, I can give to your organization. If I want to serve people in Africa, I can give to an organization and serve that community. Giving donors that opportunity to serve, but they can only be given that opportunity if we ask. And like it or not, you are always selling your organization. Your programs, your social media is selling who you are as an organization. So donors versus grants. Benefits of donors over grants is flexibility. Donor funding can be used more flexibly compared to restricted grant funds. We hear all the time, yeah, I wish I could give to, I wish we could do that particular thing, but the grant is tied to a program. I'm restricted. Long-term relationships. You can build a long-term relationship with donors. It can lead to sustained support. Sometimes people compare investing with donations. Very different. If an investor invests in a startup today, it's the expectation that they'll be self-sufficient and that they'll make money and be profitable and not come back for more money. When it comes to donations, it is the understanding that if you serve the homeless of Miami-Dade County, that this will be a perpetual thing, that you'll be serving a community over a period of months and years to come. So it's not awkward to go back to a donor. Not awkward at all. Unrestricted funds. And I'm just going to minimize the little chat. So I'm going to count on you, Dr. Sharon, to let me know what's going on in the chat. So unrestricted funds, donors often provide unrestricted funds that can be allocated where needed most. So when you do receive those donor funds, being able to apply it, say if it's for the homeless, maybe it's housing, clothes, food, having that flexibility. I'm going to turn to donor mindset. And this is also going to make it a little bit easier to ask when we understand the mindset of a donor and their motivations. Now, if we take that next step to understand the various reasons why donors give, they give because of personal connections, their beliefs, the impact that you're going to make. For example, I tend to give to I love giving to organizations that are connected with clothing, right? Why? Because my personal connection is when I grew up, we didn't have much. So everybody knows about thrift stores. Well, we went to the thrift store, to the dumpster in the back of the thrift store. I was dumpster diving before it was popular. So when the thrift store closed, mom would drive to the back of the thrift store because we couldn't afford to buy the clothes. And I was diving in that dumpster for the pants or jacket that I was wearing the next day. Now, why? We didn't have. So my personal connection is whenever I hear clothing or when they give clothing to people for interviews, I have a personal connection to that because of my experience. And then there's beliefs. Many times there are donors out there that have the same beliefs that you do, and they want to make an impact on a particular community that you serve. Your values. Donors have values and that potentially could align with your mission and messaging, but it has to be clear what your values are, what your priorities are. And we align them together with the donor's values and expectations. We want to meet and exceed donor expectations when they do give. Through transparency, that they are able to see and understand where their funds are going, that you communicate with them through newsletters and follow-up, and that you show genuine appreciation. And we'll talk about that in regards to gratitude. So again, the reason I'm setting this foundation is that we don't want to just look at asking for money as like, okay, Michael, I'm here. Give me the words to say. No, we got to take a deeper dive, understand the mindset, understand the difference between that we're asking, we're giving them an opportunity to serve our community. It takes the weight off of asking. So, all right, get ready. So we got the 5 keys to asking for money: confidence and clarity, personal connection, specific needs, impact emphasis, and gratitude. Let's take a deep dive. Confidence and clarity. We want to approach the ask with confidence and clearly state what you need. I don't know how many meetings I've sat in with both nonprofits and startups, and I said like, okay, I understand, but I almost had to ask, well, what is it that you need? Be direct. Clearly articulate an amount and the purpose of the donation. It's okay to say numbers. And many times they say in negotiation, oh, you don't want to say the number first. Here, you have to say the number first. Clearly articulate the amount and purpose of the donation and do it with confidence. Believe in your mission. And when that belief becomes contagious, and convey that belief to potential donors. If you come in there, well, I was just wondering if, you would be interested in providing some assistance and support. That's not confidence. The person sitting on the other side of the table is wondering, like, what did they got? Are they confident enough even to carry out this mission? So having confidence. And where do we get that confidence from? Rehearsing the ask, going through it even before it happens. Rehearse asking for $1 million. Rehearse asking for $50,000. Not just a donation, not, well, let me give you the link to my site and pass it on to GiveButter or have some other source take care of it. Rehearse asking. And the reason that we want to build up this confidence and rehearse now is because we never know when the opportunity to ask a donor is going to come up. It might be at Chambers, at a banquet, at the gym, in the supermarket. You never know where it's going to come up. On a Zoom meeting. So be direct, be confident, and practice. Next, we want to build a personal connection with potential donors to make the ask more meaningful. That'll also lessen the fear. When you do ask a donor, we want to understand what their interests are, what their values are. And you may be saying, well, Mike, when I just meet somebody, how do I find that out? You got to build rapport. Take time to establish a relationship before even making the ask. So what might that look like? Well, Dr. Sharon, I was wondering can we do a virtual lunch or a virtual coffee? I'd love to, listen, let's just go downtown. We hang out. I want to talk to you more about my nonprofit. Love to learn more about some of your philanthropic interests. I'd love to connect with you, learn more about your organization, build rapport. Next, share stories. I shared the earlier story of me diving in the dumpster. Hopefully through imagery, you saw a little version of me, climbing down in that dump. Share personal stories to make that emotional connection. Right now in the chat, let me know, give me a yes or a thumbs up if you have a personal connection, personal, like emotional connection or story connected to your nonprofit. Give me a yes or a thumbs up in the chat. Becky says yes. Candace says yes. Nakia says yes. So you all have a story. All of you have some type of story. Again, will we have to work on it? Make sure it's clear. Absolutely. But we all have a story. Marie says, yes, I have a story. Eddie says, yes, I have a story. And that emotional connection, and that story is uniquely yours. That's why ChatGPT can't crank out your story. Now, ChatGPT can make some changes and some edits, right? But you know your story, and no one knows it like you. Awesome. So we're building that personal connection to get to know our donors, build rapport, share stories. Next, specific needs. We need to clearly articulate the specific needs and how the donation will be used. We want to outline exactly what the funds will support. The more people know, the better. When I see a pop-up that says, hey, give to my organization, $5, $1,000, that's cool. And hopefully if I've read your about and I've read all your bio and I understand what your organization does, great. But when I see a page and there's a school and it says give to the school so we can buy a new roof, that's specific. So we're looking to raise $25,000 to build a new roof in Kenya. That's specific. I literally gave a couple of months ago, I gave to a fundraiser that was for a school in Kenya that had the leaky roof. They showed images and pictures of these kids trying to study as rain was coming down on them. It was clear. It was specific. Show how the donation will make a tangible impact. When I saw those images, I was like, oh my gosh, I have kids. I could imagine them going to a school with this rusty roof. No, I wanted to give. And you can do the same thing. Pictures, photos, videos, testimonials. As it says here, we're going to use visuals. And it says visuals or examples. Maybe you're doing something and you don't have those historical videos or pictures, and maybe you'll have to do kind of a mood board. This is what you're intending. This is what your goal is. So the more specific the need, again, let's go back to what we talked about, that fear is going to be lessened when we're just more specific. If we simply say, hey, listen, we support 50 kids in downtown LA with their education. We want to take them on an amazing trip to NASA in Texas. It's going to happen at the end of July. It costs this. And be specific, be transparent. Impact emphasis, emphasize the impact of their contribution that it'll have on the mission and the community. And we want to highlight successes, share any success stories and outcomes from past donations, using data and testimonials to demonstrate the difference the impact will make. Your donation of $1,000 will house 3 individuals returning out of prison. Your donation of X. We've been able to serve 10,000 homeless in LA County. Your donation of $10,000 will support. That data is priceless. Future vision, explain how their donation will help achieve future goals. Again, futuristically, how is it going to help? So impact, what impact? Because dollars are dollars. Like, yes, the money, but what will it do? All right, finally, this last one, and we're going to break for a couple of questions. Gratitude. Always express gratitude for their consideration, regardless the response, whether you get the money at that point or not. How do we do that? We want to express a heartfelt thanks for their time and consideration, because so often we just judge success with a donor by whether they wrote a check, but just their time is valuable. Why? Because they may not give today, but they may give some point later in the future. They may bring you to another donor, or maybe after hearing about you, reading about you several times, they give. And follow up, a thank you note or email after the meeting, and be as personal and specific as possible in that follow up. And then ongoing appreciation, add them to your mailing list. Send out those newsletter and communications so they can see you and stay top of mind. All right, so here are the keys for asking money. We just reviewed. If you're taking screenshots, screenshot this slide. I want to break right now for questions before we go into pitching and mission statements. Any questions right now? Let's see. Okay, no questions.
You
All
know,
right,
it
so
might be so cool with a couple of the folks on here, and we can even, pick or choose one, and or one can volunteer. Is I kind of want to hear someone's pitch, and then maybe we can give them some guidance on it.
oh, that's actually going to be in the next couple of slides.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, everybody.
No worries. No, you're spot on. Spot on. You're right there. All right. See, here we go. Great nonprofit pitches. That's why I adore you, Dr. Sharon, because we think so much alike. All right. So a great nonprofit pitch, we need to hear that you have a clear mission. You want to start with a concise and powerful statement of your nonprofit's mission. Storytelling. Use engaging stories in that pitch that highlight your personal impact of your work. And again, that emotional appeal, you want to connect with your audience on an emotional level to inspire action, a specific ask of what you need and how it'll be used, and some impact metrics too. So when you say, hey, I have, ABC nonprofit, we help the homeless get back on their feet through job training, job readiness, and we do it through day programs, and we've been able to already serve 10,000. So having those impact metrics go a long way. And then a call to action, and with a strong call to action, making it easy for donors to take the next step. Now, I do want to say this is a pitch. We're going to talk about mission statements in a second. So there's a pitch and then there's a mission statement. So yes, I want to open up the mic now for nonprofit pitches. Think of it as an elevator pitch or speech about who you are and what you do. So we'll open that up if you want to raise your hands. And also, as you consider like, do I want to raise my hand? This is coaching and feedback, no criticism. So I won't be like, why'd you decide to do a nonprofit on that? No, that's not this. Totally feedback and coaching. Anyone? Crickets. All right. So what we're going to do is move on to mission statements. Now, I know there's some mission statements in the room, and to motivate you to pitch or share your mission statement is whoever shares their mission statement, I will put your name in a little giveaway raffle spinny thing, and you'll get an hour coaching with me on your pitch and mission statement. Okay. I'm giving it away to one person today, but to get your name in the hat, you've got to share your pitch or mission statement. All right. So great mission statements need to be clear, inspirational, specific, brief, memorable, and aligned. So clear. When I hear it, I should need some specialized knowledge regionally or technically to understand it. Inspirational. When I hear it, it should make people go, yeah, I'm in. Specific. I should know who you're serving, how you're serving them. Brief. It should not be a paragraph or two. Memorable. We want to make it as impactful and emotional as possible, and then aligned with your mission. Now, to transition here, I want to show you what some mission statements, and I'd like to see in the chat. You tell me whether it's a missing clarity, whether it's not inspirational, whether it's not specific, brief. So here's a mission statement: to improve the quality of life for everyone, everywhere. And you can come off mic too and give me some feedback on these. To improve the quality of life. Do you guys love this mission statement? Let's see. I see. Love it. Eddie says, no, I don't love it. Anara says, I need more context. Simone says, no, not specific. So Dr. Sharon says, I don't love it either. Need context. Too general. So general. Feels too broad. What do they do? Awesome. And I see you guys dropping some mission statements in the chat. So that's what I'm going to use. The mission statements or pitches, if you drop them in the chat, I'll also put you in a drawing for a free hour with me.
You know I'm going to jump in there and say something, right, Michael? I can't resist.
What is that?
No, the very first one, definitely, it's a lot of verbiage, but not enough information to move someone. We see who you are, but we just don't know enough about what you do, who you are. We have to condense it some because it has
wait. Are you talking about what's in the chat or on the screen?
Which one do you have? Oh,
I'm talking about, we're looking at one only on the screen. No worries. No worries.
I'll go back to that when we go to it. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. But yeah, continue to drop either your pitches or mission statements in the chat. And again, I'll use that.
A good question in the chat is from Paola. How come big organizations can get away with mission statements like this?
Well, a couple of things. And well, okay, I'll answer that in two ways. The answer is almost in the question itself. When you have a big organization that has already made its imprint at Apple, we already know who they are. They have a big brand statement. You in your mission statement, you're making your mark. And some people are like, oh, you kind of skirting the answer. I'm not. When big organizations, and you'll see I have two from two large organizations, the onus is still on them, especially with nonprofits. So I want you to separate big organizations for profit and big organizations nonprofit. So if we're talking about a big organization, their slogans and then their mission statements. Mission statements still have to have all the proper elements, no matter whether it's Habitat for Humanity or Clearwater, and we're going to look at those. So I want to separate brand, slogan, and mission statement. So if you have an organization that has made its impact and you know who it is, yeah, there's a little bit of leeway, but mission statements for nonprofits still have to have that same level of clarity. And many times when we think of larger organizations, we're thinking of their slogan, not their mission statement. Okay. Hope that helps. All right. So this one, it's too vague, broad, lacks specificity. All right, here's another one. Our mission is to innovate and empower a new generation of change makers to create a better world through diverse, inclusive, and sustainable practices. I hear ones like this a lot. What's the problem with this one? Eddie, Candace, Paolo. What practices? There we go. Because I can walk through this, and when you start to say change makes a better world through diverse, how, inclusive, who, the world is the whole audience. I like that one. Yep. Too vague, too much jargon, unclear focus. All right, we'll jump to the next one. We aim to help people by providing resources and support those in need, with a focus on improving community outcomes through collaborative efforts and innovative solutions. Sounds pretty good to me. Does that help? Is that a good one? No, it's not. What's wrong with it? And the way you can, when you walk through a mission statement, you should be able to answer questions along the way. We aim to help people. What people? By providing resources. What resources? And support those in need. Who? Homeless, seniors, veterans. Focusing on improving communities. What communities? Community outcomes. What outcomes? Through collaborative efforts. What innovative solution? It's a whole bunch of questions in there, not answers. People can't, vagueness doesn't inspire anyone. Too lengthy, lacks clear impact. Here's a good one. To serve as a catalyst for positive change in the community. To serve as a catalyst for positive change in the community. But isn't this a good thing? Right? To be a catalyst change, this is good, right? Not inspirational, not clear, not specific. It's good, but it's not to the point. Love it. Absolutely. Lacks specificity and clarity about the organization's activities. What the heck do you do? Here's one I hear a lot. To foster a synergistic approach to community development through strategic partnerships and stakeholder engagement, ensuring holistic growth and sustainable outcomes. You getting any better? Let me see in the chat. What do you guys think about this one? She said, Antoinette said, LOL, this is getting crazy. Too wordy. Absolutely. Please stop using the word foster and holistic without specificity. I'm sorry, but it's funny. Absolutely, it is. Over complex and unclear. Now, we can look at these on one page and we laugh at them like, oh my gosh, or we're wondering how can they, but sometimes we have elements of these in our messaging. So we see it right now in the mission statement and it jumps out at us. But some of us may have this somewhere on our website, and that's what we have to be really, really careful of. So it needs to be clear, inspirational, specific, memorable, and aligned with your vision. Here's some great ones. Habitat for Humanity. Seeking to put God's love in action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. It's inspirational, specific, and aligns with their values. Charity Water, bringing clean and safe drinking water to people in developing countries. Okay. I see a hand raised. Recognizing that hand. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Inara?
Oh, well, hello. Actually, thank you. My name isn't Anara. I just came in on her link because mine wasn't working at the time, but my name is L'Oreal Allegretti. And so I wanted to share my mission statement verbally. I know people were putting in the chat, but
Yeah.
if that's okay. Okay, so
And what's your
um,
name? Just so I know for giveaway.
yeah, L'Oreal Allegretti, Loriel
And is your
Allegretti.
email what email did you register with?
L'Oreal,
Hey, Dr.
let
Sharon.
me
Okay.
see your face.
You know I'm not camera ready, but you know I love you, so here you go.
I love you too. Thank
Hi,
you for joining
hi.
us today. You tell everybody what nonprofit you have and what you guys do real quick, just so Michael can at least get a briefing on it also, because it's cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So I want the feedback too, because maybe I am, dabbling in areas I shouldn't be, but here it is. So the 40 Tons Foundation's mission is to provide education, resources, and career opportunities for BIPOC communities, along with those that have been system impacted, starting with the cannabis industry.
Let's walk through that one together. So
Okay.
one more time.
You want me to recite it one more?
Yeah, but I want you to go like a couple of words in. I want you to walk me through the commas in there.
Okay. The 40 Tons Foundation's mission is to provide education,
Yeah, provide
resources.
education. So we know, let's go back to that list. I want to use that list as an example. So let's see here. 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. So we got the clear, inspirational, specific, brief, memorable, and aligned. So, and I also always want to be able to say who you are, what you do, who you serve, how you serve them. So I know the organization, and who do you serve?
The cannabis industry in particular, but mainly, well, it's not mentioned there, but it's mentioned on my site, but for those who have been victims of the war on drugs and then their families.
Okay, so read the mission statement through again.
So it's okay. So the 40 Tons Foundation mission is to provide education, resources, and career opportunities for BIPOC communities, along with those that have been system impacted, starting with the cannabis industry.
Yeah, for me, and definitely Dr. Sharon can jump in there. I want to clearly know who you serve, and there's like a little bit of a disconnect. So it's like BIPOC, and then those that have been, you said systematically what?
System impacted folks, people who have nonviolent cannabis offenses, now that things are legal, not federally, but, in most states, and just that domino effect that happens to those people and then their family.
Yeah. So that have been victim to the
War on drugs.
war on drugs, like literally even putting that in the mission statement, because I guess you're trying to be, I don't know whether it's trying to be like politically correct by saying system impacted, because I didn't know what system impacted was.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to be as clear as possible. So one of the things
Okay.
I had mentioned earlier was that we want to make sure that we're not using kind of insider language, or it doesn't require you to explain it later, because literally
Okay.
they're going to pop onto your website, go to your about section, read a mission statement, and it should be able to live on its own. So
Understood.
some people think inspirational means like it's got to be big and flowery. Sometimes just, you know, those that have been victims of the war on drug, like just being very straight to the point is
Okay.
very, very effective.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep, yep. And then too, because the BIPOC part of it, and read it one more time.
Oh, to provide education, resources, and career opportunities for BIPOC communities, along with those that have been system impacted.
And what are the resources? That's a
So
word we got to be careful of too.
yeah, so we put on career conferences, and most of the so people can get education, but also career opportunities. So bringing everything that someone would need to gain an interview, actually doing the interview on site, resources to professional clothing, haircuts, makeup, and we've done 6 of them so far.
Okay,
So
great.
on East and West
Congratulations.
Coast. Thank you. Thank you. So that's the part of bringing those resources, and also having the legal component of expungements, beginning the process of your expungement for your records. So bringing in that legal counsel, paralegals to get that process started, and even just giving the education of those people who are wanting their records
Yep.
expunged to know that it's not going to be an overnight process, right?
Okay.
So
So a couple of things. I always like, people tend to remember stuff in threes. So providing career, what would you say? Career, what is it?
opportunities.
Yeah, so career opportunities, legal, like when you say legal resources or educational opportunities. So if you
Yeah.
tie it to something and say it in threes, that's also really effective. So you provide,
Okay.
say, legal resources, educational opportunities, and maybe a third one.
Okay.
Because remember that we have our mission statement and then there's everything else. So we want to highlight the big stuff, the stuff
Okay.
that makes people raise their hand and say, oh, I understand what that is. We could always go into greater detail, like the expungements, all that stuff is going to
Mhm.
be, that's under legal resources.
Okay.
The interview skills under career support.
Okay.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations on what you do. Congratulate you on your successes, taking it on, and wishing you much success.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
And Michael, this is Anara, actually. I work with L'Oreal. And I think I had a question on that last one, because I'm wondering if the word practical resources sparks anything, because other than outside of the ones that L'Oreal has mentioned, there are a lot of practical things that the foundation helps with, including, commissary funds, including, like we're working on being able to donate airline miles and things like that. So I wonder if maybe the word practical or something that we can tie to that describes that in a more packaged way.
Yeah, well, if we say practical for me, and essentially the more specific, the better. So if it's legal resources and all that stuff is under legal and we can group it in there, that's fine. Practical is going to be, I would have to know about what you do for it to, and practical is also a little objective. So that's where we have to be careful. So we want to be as specific and clear as possible.
Great, thank you.
No worries. And I will tell you this, even with my recommendations, if there are words that resonate with you, that maybe there's some connection, I would never say change it. I'm only letting you know from an outsider's point of view how these words resonate with people. Because I've had people say that and they're like, no, my grandma said this is what it's going to be. I'm like, I'm not fighting with grandma. I get it. So, but that's awesome. Who's up next? I can't see who's up next.
Hi, I have my my hand raised.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'll do it
Hey,
in order
Peter.
then. Yep. Who's next? I see L'Oreal, she went, and then Nakia Carter.
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay, perfect. So I put mine in the chat, but I'll go ahead and
Okay.
just go
Let-
for it.
And I'm
So,
gonna put it in the chat too. Let's see.
okay. So 218 Vision is dedicated to empowering women, facilitating real estate career opportunities, and offering support to families in their grief journey.
What type of journey?
Grief.
Okay. So what's the community? Just talk to me through how
Um,
who is this community and how are they created?
So it's three. So the thing is, I do four different things. So I was trying to put them all together. So what we do are grief gatherings, and that is for families that have lost someone. So we'll have gatherings once a month, bring them together. We also do a holiday drive that's connected to the grief for daughters that lost their father. So I lost my father. This is 218 was his birthday. So that's why that's how it all came about. I also do women elevating women events about once a quarter. And so those are for women. And then I also help them in real estate because I'm a real estate broker. So I've gotten some different thoughts behind grouping all those things together, but I
Yep.
definitely still do all those different things. So
Yeah, no. And the reason I had to ask that question, remember, I'm not close to it. I didn't know. I'm just reading it today.
no, for
I've
sure.
never met you before, right? So we want to make sure. So if we walk through that, so 218 Vision is dedicated to empowering women. What are you empowering them to do or be? Where are you empowering them to do what?
I'm empowering them to anything, buy a home, get a life insurance policy, get a divorce, heal their relationship, get some self-care, it's a whole event that, you could take away all those different things plus more. So it's
Okay.
been an event I've been doing since 2018.
Okay. Facilitating real estate career. Does everybody participate in the real estate?
So I have a real estate mentorship program that I do every 218. So I bring somebody, I'm a real estate broker. So I bring someone
Yep.
to my brokerage and I pay for their career, getting it started and all that every single February 18th.
Okay.
So everybody can participate in that.
Well, this is it. I say this to, like I say to some of my entrepreneurs and founders, you have just have the same mindset, but you're a nonprofit. You're like a mogul. You got a real estate thing going on. You got the entrepreneur thing going on. You have empowerment.
You like that?
I
Coaching
got too
thing
much going on.
Good stuff.
Right.
No,
She's a
and there's
mogul.
nothing wrong with it. Because some people will tell you, like, you're trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more of an umbrella thing that you're doing to
That's what I was gonna
empower
say.
women
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be their best selves in
And-
spite of setbacks.
Yes.
That's where I think we're going with this.
Okay.
So we don't have to mention some things. It's almost like a less is more type of thing. I think the empowerment part is a big piece. It needs to stay.
Okay.
I don't think we need to mention the real estate only because I don't think everyone is involved in that and it's not a prerequisite.
Okay.
Now
that-
you
I'm
mentioned
sorry.
two communities in the same mission statement, women and families. So I do want you to be conscious that I want you to pick, and it sounds like the stronger one is going to be the community you serve, women, or is it families?
It's really women. It's
Okay.
really women, but I don't want to, I don't want to exclude anyone.
You're not.
But it's
When
really
you-
women, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
women, they pull up and they show up, and that's who
and the
my
women
audience is.
have families, right?
They do.
Some of them do. So it's fine. It's by default. That's like you saying like women, family, and their spouse. You don't gotta include everybody. When you hold your sign outside your restaurant, it says looking for women that want to be empowered, to go to the next level, to overcome, adversity, right?
Correct.
That's the sign outside. That's
It
what
is.
we want the mission statement to reflect.
Okay. Noted. Love that.
I
Thank you.
think what makes her nonprofit so unique as well is I know you're heavy focused on women, Nikea, but one of the unique aspects of your organization is the general empowerment you just put into people every day, as far as like the development of their business, putting on events, networking, going to events. I'm like thinking of all the shit that you make me do. Like, these are the things that make you so unique and your organization. And I'm thinking even about like Winter Watts, I was just messaging with him, like that's a male, and the love that you pour into him and his colleagues and all of the real estate guys, the first male that you brought on, it's more than just women, even though that women's conference is a big component to the nonprofit. So I would even say if there's something more about 2NA, and your father's, was big into empowerment for entrepreneurs too.
No, for sure. And then Winter, he was actually the first guy that came to the grief gathering. He even asked me before he came, is that for women too? So although it is women, I don't want them to feel like they cannot come. They can't come to Women Elevate Women, but they can come to everything else I do at 218 though, right? So that's one of the reasons why I threw that in there. So.
Yeah, no worries. But that's again speaking to the mogul side of you, right? You probably have enough to do women, entrepreneurs. I mean, there's a lot in there. So I don't want you to now limit what you do through the mission statement and our messaging. But again, it feels very mogulish. It feels very, you can do it all. I will tell you, I could read a mission statement and I could be like, you doing too much. You need to cut that stuff out. Like, but this does not feel like that. This feels like this thing is big. So good stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Hey, Mama Elephant.
Awesome. And I know we've got 9 minutes and there's several mission statements here. So a couple of things. One, if you can't stay later, just repost your, like if you have to leave, just repost your mission statements if it's in there, and just say bye. And that's the way I'll know to put you in the drawing also. Okay. So next hand that was raised, is it in this order? Is it Ahisha?
Yes, hi. Can you guys hear
Yes.
me?
Sure can.
Hey, everybody. I was trying to get my picture together, but I'll just keep the camera off. So my question is, I have the name of my nonprofit is Love Dove's Nest. The Nest stands for Necessities, Encouragement, Support, and Training. And I'll read just a moment.
Oh, I see it. The mission statement: removing barriers by providing case management and wraparound services, including necessities, encouragement, support, training to former foster youth between the ages of 17 and 27.
Yes.
Okay, so based on what we talked about today, where do you think your mission statement thrives and where do you think it needs some work?
Well, I'm a little torn between including the wraparound services because not everybody understands what that term is. And then also the other component is that the youth that I intend to serve should come from a low-income suicide survivor or a veteran-connected background. I think when I filed my 501c3, I included that, but I was thinking maybe I would shorten it. But that is because obviously if they've aged out and they're former foster youth, it doesn't necessarily mean that they need these types of services. So they would need to be low income or suicide survivor or a veteran connected person to receive the services. So I'm wondering if I should continue to include those 3 entry points.
Well, a couple of things. Nonprofits are very much like for-profit companies. Any for-profit companies, you always say, well, who's your perfect customer? Who do you serve? Who are you best serving? And again, when you're talking about different communities or different caveats in there. But just let's take a step back. How long has your organization been up and running and serving?
I just started. I'm at the ground level. I just got the 501c3 in January. So I'm just doing all administrative stuff right now
Okay.
to build it.
Okay. The reason I'm asking that too is that if you're early in it,
Mhm.
this also speaks to the community you serve. So we need to be able to have a message, marketing, website, outreach to be as specific as possible so that we have a community that we can reach or that they can raise their hands. So it sounds like there's like the veterans and suicide, and there's a lot of components in there. So just from a standpoint of messaging, do you have your website up?
It should be published within the next 24 hours. There was some editing that was needed. The reason I mention those three things because they're important to me. They all create 25% of these youth age out of the system with PTSD, and being low income, that's something that causes that. If you are, like for me, being connected to veterans who have PTSD in your immediate family, that creates PTSD in you, potentially if there's trauma involved. And then suicide survivors. A lot of these youth are, because of their PTSD, they may be suicidal. So I'm speaking to these three backgrounds.
Yeah. But question for you though, when you say age out of the system, what system?
So the foster care system. Aging out is a term associated with TAY, which is also transitional age youth, and that's for the youth who were not paired with families successfully. So they're in group homes. Normally on their 18th birthday, they have to leave. When aid or funding stops, normally between that 18 and 21 year,
Okay.
they have to leave. So they don't have life skills.
Okay.
But they're
Yeah. So what I recommend here is that with this mission statement, I would front load who you serve. And it would sound something like the name of your organization serves foster youth between 17 to 27 by providing case management, wraparound services. And also, what is the goal? What are you trying to do? Like, you serve them with what goal?
To remove their barriers.
Well, once the barriers are removed, what do you want to happen?
I guess decrease the number of them that go to jail who are sex trafficked or become pregnant, and increase the number of them who are able to attend college and graduate.
There you go. Okay, so and this is another thing too that's very inspirational about mission statements is that when you say what you want aspirationally as an outcome, so they can live healthy, happy lives, that they can become ambitious, like put in there to inspirational what you're looking for as a goal for them, versus, and again, you wouldn't put in there to avoid sex trafficking and all that other stuff, but congratulate you on what you do. The more clarity on this, especially this early on in the process, the better. If you look at nonprofits that raise into the millions and are around for 5 or 10 years, they become more and more refined. They don't leave anyone out, but their message has to be super clear and refined. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to go to the next hand. And the QR code was up on the screen. If you want to work with myself, Dr. Sharon, and this is what we do. We work with you on your pitch, your mission statement, write grants, capacity building, financial management, you name it, one-stop shop. I'm going to put that up on the screen as I recognize. Is it Mirandia? Mirandia? Forgive me if I messed up your name. She says, I'm not even coming on the mic. All right.
It's you're right, it's Mirandia.
Awesome. Mirandia, welcome. And did you have a question or want to share your mission statement?
Share our mission statement.
All right. Is it in the chat or did you want to read it?
it is. I'm gonna read it if I can find it. We all were putting it in. Okay, I found it. So I currently am a donor manager for Saved in the City. Our mission statement is Saved in the City is a Christ-centered ministry for women. We seek to encourage and equip women to live a sold-out life for God through life groups, social outings, and community outreach. Our goal is to provide a safe platform for women to learn God's word, grow in faith, and share his love with others.
All right. All right. Very
Miranda,
specific.
are you with Brittany?
Yes,
Okay. Oh my God, give her a hug for me.
I will.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
No, no, no. No worries. No worries. Very specific. So Saved in the City is a Christ-centered ministry for women. We seek to encourage women and equip them to live a sold-out life for God. So you do it through social outings and community outreach?
Yes.
Our goal is to provide a safe platform for women to learn God's word, grow in faith. Okay, your mission statement. My only feedback here is you could have ended at outreach, and that'd have been a solid mission statement. I'd have taken that.
Okay.
Yep. Because your goal is going to be a byproduct. When that first sentence works and you do that mission statement, you're going to get the safe platform for women and God. And that goes more into what you would usually find in your website in your about section, but super
Awesome.
specific, actionable. I get it. I get what you do. I know who you serve. It's specific. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And again, I'm pulling the names of the people that either raise their hands. Also, too, even if you raise your hand or spoke, make sure that your mission statement is in the chat, because that's how I'm doing the drawing, from the chat only. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Sharon.
Hi.
Hello.
My foundation is called the Flourishing Foundation. I believe it's in the chats. I gotta find it.
Oh, you know what? As you find it, Miranda, can I workshop with you for just 1 second, and I'm gonna go back to Sharon? Can you give me 30 seconds?
Mhm. Yes.
Why did you have to find your mission statement in the chat before you shared it?
Oh, I just wanted to read it, like make clear. I was just texting one of our team. I was like, I need to learn it like by heart. And I was just texting her that. I was like, I
Yeah,
need to learn.
yeah. When it's great and I want you to memorize it. If
Yeah.
you have trouble memorizing it, that's also a little bit of a check. I think I'm gonna add that to the slides. When you have trouble memorizing it, that you be careful. It might be too long. It might be
Yeah.
too wordy. It might be too much jargon. Okay. So I'm not hating on anybody that's reading it from the chat, but just moving forward after today, I want this to be so inspirational. I want it to be in your soul that you
That's
know it
good.
inside and out.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
No worries. Thank you. Let me workshop
Don't
with you.
forget to tell Brittany I say hi and give her a hug for me.
Okay, I will.
And before you jump on the other Sharon, Michael, her nonprofit was just formed. So super congratulations to you, Sharon, for getting
Yay.
your 501c3 status. Welcome to the community.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon. Thanks to you for helping me file it.
Awesome.
So my mission statement is devoted to healing and transformation in underserved communities by extending necessities to support health, education, and overall well-being.
Read that. Do that same thing, but take out the word necessities. Go ahead.
Devoted to healing and transformation in underserved communities by extending support help by, okay, you said take out necessities.
Is it in the chat too? Is it in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. My nonprofit is called the Flourishing Foundation. Oh, file that. Okay, oh, yeah. Devoted to healing and transformation in underserved communities by extending support, health, education, and overall well-being.
Okay.
Yep. And the same reason before when we were talking about words that kind of don't grab or have impact, necessities. What necessities? And so who's the underserved in this? Is it veterans, homeless, elderly, children?
Everyone, mainly those who are poverty stricken, like homeless. Yeah.
Okay. So is it homeless, low income, elderly, children?
It's general. So I would say, I don't know. It's general. It's anyone.
Well, it's not anyone. Because if I ride up in my Bentley and say, "Hey, I need some support," you're gonna help me, and
Um, in your Bentley? No.
yeah. All right.
Knowing
So it's not
Sharon,
everyone.
yes, she would still want to help you because that's all Sharon does.
That's what Sharon
But
do,
for the
right?
purposes of the nonprofit,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's where I encourage you, let's just be a little more specific, because remember we talked about when we talk to donors or even when we fill out grants, we can't say, well, we just generally help underserved, whoever they are. The more specific, the better. And if we were to have a conversation, there's probably a very specific group that you're called to serve, that you have contact with, that motivated you even to start your nonprofit. So the more specific, the better. Remember, specificity doesn't mean that you're excluding anyone. You just have to have some type of target. Now, to your point, like we serve we serve underserved, let's see, devoted to the healing and transformation in underserved communities throughout LA County by providing support through health, education, and overall well-being. And the overall well-being too, how do you execute on these programs? What are some of your prospective programs going to be?
Um, like hygienic supplies and things like that, food, um, clothing, yeah, things along that line.
Okay.
And I guess to be real specific, it is homeless, but I meant to say homeless of all ages, if that makes more sense.
Well, it's okay to say homeless, because by default it's kind of all ages. So you can say help the homeless. It's okay. Like you're not excluding like, what? You're homeless and old, you're homeless and young. So saying homeless would be totally fine with that.
Okay, so it's more like devoted to healing and transformation in underserved communities throughout Los Angeles.
Or if we took out the word underserved and said homeless, how would that sound? So you're
Oh,
devoted to
okay.
the healing and transformation of the homeless by extending, and I'll even put every word back in, devoted to the healing and transformation of the homeless by extending necessities to support health, education, and overall well-being.
Okay, so the only thing that changed is underserved to homeless.
Yep, change the homeless.
Okay.
I'd work on that necessities piece, but when you say homeless and necessities, now it makes sense. Like, oh, necessities for homeless. So, all right. So listen, I'm getting the cue to wrap it up. I appreciate you. I'm pulling the chat to take the names to put into the drawing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the questions. And by popular demand, we'll make a part 2 in the summer. I'm here to stay. We'll be doing these soon, very soon. We'll be doing these on a weekly basis. Let's show Dr. Sharon some love in the chat again for even holding this and allowing me to be in this space. If we could just get a little something, little hearts, if you're still here. We got 26 people and I ain't got no hearts in the chat. Y'all must be reaching for your keyboards. There we go. Kathy says, thank you so much for the information. Brian says, thank you to me and Dr. Sharon. Peggy, Mom, who I never met, but your daughter's amazing. She says, love from Mama. Janelle says, heart emoji. So I ran over. Sorry about that, Dr. Sharon.
nah, you're good. You blessed us with so much love. I know y'all love that one because with this clear mission, with your pitch, that's literally dollar signs coming in the door. We've got lots of new nonprofits on here. We've got a couple of folks that have been around for 5+ years. So our next Lunch and Learn is next week, July 3rd, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Go to the Nonprofit Plug Instagram page. You can register for next week. We will post the recording of this on our YouTube channel. The last one is on there already as well. Thank you for coming to the Nonprofit Plug Lunch and Learn. Y'all have a great week.
Awesome. Take care. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.